More stocks on our radar, so let's discuss all of these. We have with us Sanjiv Bhasin from IIFL joining in on the show right now. Sanjiv, hi, good morning. Great to have you on ETNow as always. Sanjiv, can't help but first talk about Nykaa, because while many brokerages believe that the stock has been a rank underperformer, they see significant upside. The beauty and personal care segment has been a bit of a consistent, profitable growth driver. Not so much fashion, but wanted to understand from you, what's the street verdict?
Yeah, good morning, Aisha. Good to be with you after a long time. So, I don't track Nykaa as much, but if I read the headlines, a company like Purple, which is into Glamour World, which is into, Priyanka Gill, all these are doing extremely well. And, if we see the personal care and the beauty segment, it has miles to go, Aisha, in our country, because we are just coming of age. And I think that the spending patterns have changed. So we have two picks in our portfolio in the fintech stroke new listed stocks, that's Zomato and Paytm. Nykaa is something which we've been tracking, and we will get back after we analyze these numbers. But personally, I don't track it. I'm just giving a view of the industry.
Point. Zomato and Paytm. Sanjiv, give us the rationale on why you're bullish on these stocks and why they continue to be on the buy for you.
So simply, my son runs a restaurant. I've always invited you for best butter chicken, but 30% of his margins are taken by Zomato. Zomato is a new no-brainer as far as the restaurant goes. It keeps your kitchen alive. Secondly, they're now outreaching a lot of the reaches where margins may fall, but the breadth and the volumes will pick up. So I think if you have a 2-year perspective, you can easily see your money double. Same is with Paytm. The investment officer met me a couple of months back, and that was closer to 600. He said, not recommending the stock, he said India is now doing 4 times more digital transactions than China. And China was the front leader at one time. And he says QR is a no-brainer. They've invested a lot in technology, and they think that the reach to vendors and the small ticket buyers of kiranas, that is where their money lies. So they have an NBFC or a financial arm in the offing. I think that once they get approval, this stock can be a huge outperformer.
Sanjiv, I promise you our next Delhi trip, I will definitely be at the restaurant for butter chicken, and I will not Zomato it. We'll personally go there, right?
I'm a vegetarian.
I mean, you order whatever.
So for vegetarians, we have very good dahi tikka kebab and paneer tikka.
So has your son started putting the options on ONDC? I mean, wouldn't that just change the construct of Zomato?
Yes. Nikunj is waiting for more clarity. He will get there because he keeps crying about the margins. But right now, I am on the lookout for a good girl, and he's on the way to get engaged. So the restaurant will come a little later. But yes, ONDC is on the cards.
Congratulations. आप ससुर बनने वाले हो? No, Bhasin Saab, I'm saying your son is getting engaged, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's on the anvil. Let's see who he finalizes, but it's on the anvil.
Okay. I think marriage has to be done between two people, right? Both of them have to agree. Okay, Bhasin Saab, all the best. Keep us posted.
First find someone.
Okay, find someone. Okay. I'm my bad. Okay, Bhasin Saab, all the best. Congratulations. हम मिठाई का जल्दी वेट करेंगे.
जरूर sir.
Okay. I'm going to change gears, Bhasin Saab, and talk about what is happening in the electronic manufacturing space. In last 10 days, Keynes, Sharma SGX, Dixon, Amber, all of them have made a roaring comeback. So if somebody is buying electronic manufacturing stocks now, what does next 6 months and what does next 1 year hold for them?
Nikunj, you can't run with the hares and hunt with the hounds. ये कहना आसान था 16,800 आ गया हम लेंगे. आप अगर मार्केट में थे तभी आप न्यू हाइज देखोगे. और चाहे वो डिक्सन टेक्नोलॉजीज हो, केन्स हो, चाहे वो कमिंस हो, सीमेंस हो, L&T, they are coming with best ever results. Look at Maruti sales. The stock is hitting new highs. So we are missing the woods for the trees. Corporate results have been better than expected. Macros for once are at the best time. Bond yields, rupee, oil, all in your favor. So and the most unwanted players are the biggest buyers. So the new highs are coming, whether you own Amber or you own Dixon, I don't know. But your portfolio must be in stocks. If you own stocks, then only you'll enjoy the 19,000 which is going to come.
I understand that, but I was specific about this space which is getting charged up. Everyone is saying that what happens to, let's say, defense stocks 2 years ago and railway stocks 1 year ago, this year belongs to some of the electronic manufacturing companies.
Correct. I fully agree. Just look at Nvidia's numbers today. It's up 15% aftermarket because it has guided higher on chips. And that tells you that the last 1 year saw a lot of shortage on a lot of things. That is coming to helm and logistics is working. And these people are ruling the roost, whether it's artificial intelligence or the new regime. But electronics is a very sweet spot. Even electric appliances. Look at Havells, look at Voltas. I mean, I can just give you the ancillary industries which are doing extremely well and where these are going to be part and parcel for the next few years.
I'm scanning through some more stocks here, and Bhasin sir, one more stock I think which we've discussed, and markets did not pay attention to this, is IndusInd Bank. There was a time it was commanding price to book which was equivalent to HDFC Bank. Today it is commanding a price to book which is just below SBI. What is the right price for IndusInd Bank?
So I, as a disclosure, I have it in my personal portfolio. And when the real, there was blood on the street at 350 and nobody wanted to touch it, that's it. Now, IndusInd is the parent holding company by the Hindujas. Ashok Leland is seeing the strongest numbers. In the two-wheeler, in the four-wheeler segment and the CV, they are seeing record businesses. And if autos are going to spurt, then IndusInd is a natural proxy. They've cleansed their book well. Sumant Katpalia has taken the helm at the, and I think that Bank Nifty is being led higher by all the banks which were not, not the favorites. AU Bank, Bandhan Bank, and IndusInd. Now, HDFC, if I heard the management and I'm waiting for the merger, I think it's a no-brainer to own HDFC Bank. Return on capital, return on equity is very strong. Branch expansion. So I think this is the time to own both IndusInd and HDFC.
See, that's what Sanjiv is flagging off. But let's get in a take on the charts as well then. And Rajesh, get in your thoughts on some of the stocks that have been in the spotlight. Just a quick look as to what the charts of an NBCC are indicating.
Stock has given a breakout on a weekly chart, and looking at the overall setup, we believe that if stocks manage to cross 44-45 level, then NBCC can scale up further higher from the current level. As looking at the longer term time frame, after a consolidation of almost 6-7 months now, stock is breaking out on the near term chart. So 45 is the key level to watch for. If it crosses those levels, then next target could be around 54 to 56 in the short to medium term. One can buy this stock with stop loss of 41.
The other group of stocks I want to focus is definitely the entire railways theme, and I'm just going to get in Sanjeev's take over here. Titagarh Wagons came out with their numbers and it's a blowout set. The loss that they actually posted has turned into a profit this quarter of about 48 crore rupees. They've expanded more than 100 basis points on a year-on-year basis on their margins. And we've seen the reportage come in from most of these railway companies as well. It's been a bit of a mixed bag, frankly. But Sanjiv, the market is now very divided on how to approach railway stocks and whether they were a fancied frenzy with the best behind us.
Well, Aisha, I've been in the markets for fairly long, and railway stocks were always few weeks before the rail budgets, and then they tended to die down. But look at the performance of RVNL or an IRCON or a Titagarh Wagon. It's telling you that the capex and the intensity with which the government is focusing on rail and in-road transport is humongous. That's why these companies' margins and they're maybe the best ever in history. And I think they've run up a lot, so they've doubled, tripled in the last 2 years. They can be caution and because they're overowned. But as a theme, that's what we are trying to tell you, that the economy is going all guns blazing. When did you see Siemens, Thermax, L&T hit all-time highs? So I am very, very positive on the overall market. Now, obviously, Aisha, Titagarh and RVNL have been huge doublers from recent times, and there will be profit booking and questions on the numbers. Generally, the adage is sell on good news and buy on bad news, which is why we are turning contrarian and buying some of the metal stocks. which we think in the next 3 months will be outperformers.
Okay. Could you name any of the metal names that you're bullish on and recommend a buy?
So simply put, we think copper may have come to close to bottoming out. We think next week, the dumbass deal on the debt ceiling, which has happened 68 times out of 80 years, is going to get through, and that is always going to be a cause of concern. I mean, why not have a budget and clear the balances? But, you will live with the US and how their whims and fancies go. Once that is done, the dollar is headed lower. Jindal Steel becomes an extremely good, attractive buy at this price, along with Tata Steel. And in copper, I think Hindalco, and the best numbers were of Hindustan Copper. I think if you have a 3-month period, these stocks can give you a 20% return as both ferrous, non-ferrous come back on the table, with China spending and the underperformance coming to an end.
Jeffrey's forum, a note on IHCL. It's almost like a routine that every day we get a buy on IHCL from some brokerage or the other brokerage. By the way, Nuresh is not there, Kunal. Nuresh has turned bearish on IHCL.
Yeah, he's
like the biggest bull.
He's
the biggest perma bull of IHCL is saying time to get out.
Yeah.
Why? Technically, is it looking overbought?
Well, not, on the charts, it's not looking overbought. In fact, the stock is doing pretty well in the last 1 month, 2 months as well. The stock has recovered quite smartly from, I think, 340 levels, 340, 345 to now, I think, 375 plus, where it's trading. It's also on the verge of hitting a lifetime high. So the momentum is strong. It's more stable as a chart. Even at a time when the stock hit that 340 odd levels, it actually bounced off from its key 20-day moving average. So when a stock typically shows those tendency of adhering towards its 20 DMA over a gradual period of uptrend, we expect that the trend would continue to be more sustainable. So I think for Indian hotels, as of now, looking at the charts, it seems that the trend is sustainable. 340 remains to be a key support point for the stock over the near term.
Sanjiv, where does your preference lie when it comes to the auto space?
So firstly, you're all welcome when you come to Delhi. Along with the restaurant, we'll also take you to Taj Vivanta, which is a stone's throw from my house. And it belongs to my cousin, run by the Taj franchise. They are seeing the best EBITDA break even in the last 10 years. I'm just giving you a fact. It is not something as a disclosure. But you will be amazed at the turn in room rates and how Taj has become the most wanted brand. And that Mr. Chatwal stated that if I wish I had 2-3 more branches in Delhi and Bombay, because business is roaring. That's to tell you the outperformance. The stock has almost doubled or tripled in the last 3 years. On auto, I am very, very bullish on Maruti, and I'm extremely positive on some of the OEMs like Bosch, which has been a big outperformer. But Maruti, Hero Moto is my dark horse. You know what Tata Motor has done in the last 6 months, I think then this year will belong to Hero Moto, given that rural incomes and two-wheelers are seeing a lot of traction. Out of every 4 motorcycles charged on EVs, 3 are Hero Moto, and it's not a very well-known fact. So they are gaining market share in EV, which is a small segment in the two-wheeler, but this stock can be a dark horse along with Maruti.
So Aisha and Nikunj, now when you guys head to Delhi for IEC, you have so many options as well and to go for. But that aside, let's thank Rajesh for joining in on the technicals. We've got Shivangi Sarda as well with us now on the show. Shivangi, just getting a quick take from you then as to what the outlook is in terms of some of yesterday's movers in trade within the broader markets and within the frontliners as well. You did see the likes of a Sun Pharma, a Dr. Reddy's, Cipla. They were all abuzz within the pharma space. What are the charts indicating?
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. So we've seen that, of course, Sun Pharma, there was, short covering trigger that was seen yesterday, and the chart has been seen bottoming out. But my outlook over here would be that, once it takes support, at these levels and, stabilizes here, only then is it a stable, buy from here, because pharma stocks are usually quite volatile. So, recommending to maintain a strict stop loss over here. As levels concerned, 930 would be an important support to look out for 990 levels.
Pharma. and it is DVs which is making a real comeback. Bhasin Saab, has finally DVs managed to fix all the challenges what they've had? Because 2020 and 21, this was like the real darling stock. Nobody wanted to sell DVs, everybody wanted to buy. Post 2 quarters of bad performance, DVs is now on the receiving end. Do you think the stock has finally bottomed out post numbers?
Correct, Nikunj, and I think a lot of the pessimism and over ownership was done with. I think numbers are very fine, and you don't have to keep weighing all these stocks just because of the COVID wave and so on. In contract farming, pharma, they're doing extremely well. And I would like to suggest one more name, with your permission. I think the DVs is well owned. Piramal Pharma. This is my dark horse play for 2023. Their CRAMS, their API, and their CGS businesses are starting to show a lot of expansion. Yes, there was this overhang of debt which has risen. Plus, they've had a higher taxation. But the Piramals have issued warrants at 126. So at 70, 72 rupees, Piramal Pharma is a steal. And I think this stock can double in the next 1 year, notwithstanding that the original business of the Piramals was pharma before they sold a blockbuster drug to Abbott, and then they diversified. So if you ask me, DVs is going to be an outperformer, but Piramal Pharma is my dark horse for doubling in the next 1 year.
Let's hear it out then. Some top fundamental stock ideas. Sandeep Sabharwal, he's got some interesting bets within the defense space. Let's find out what they are.
Huge, long gestation period of most of their projects. So most of the analysts get excited when the order is announced, but they don't realize that designing process itself will take so long. The execution might start after 3 years and deliveries might be after 5 years for many of these projects which companies like these shipyards are doing, or also a company like Hindustan Aeronautics, etc. are doing. So I think investors need to keep that in mind before buying their stocks, not immediately extrapolate orders into profit projection. And longer term outlook for most of them still seems to be good, but then many of the stocks have run up so much that they seem to be priced for perfection. Among the best listed companies, I think Bharat Electronics came up with decent results. So I think that's something which we have also accumulated, and I would be positively inclined towards that because that's where there's some valuation comfort. In terms of the sheer positivity of growth outlook, Hindustan Aeronautics stands out because of the magnitude of orders they've been giving. So that's something one can accumulate on every dip.
Okay, some more stock ideas. Sanjiv, can't help but talk about what you're making of the recovery that one has seen in the Adani group of stocks. We broke the story just day before that GQG has picked up further in the last 3 days of recovery that we've had in the Adani group of names. LIC has gained more than 50% from lows because of the amount of holding that they have in the Adani group of stocks as well. But would you recommend buying into these names?
That's $1 million question, Aisha. You had to be brave at 1,000 rupees 4 months back. And if you had bought it at 2,500 and saw 1,000, well, you missed nothing. It's back to 1,000. The real person who's jingling with money is Rajiv Jain. And that's kudos to him for buying such a big block when everyone was, extremely cautious and bearish. It also allies fears of the soothsayers who had said India's debt and India's banks are under sovereign problem, and it's your banks, SVB, First Republic, the 167-year-old Credit Suisse. So forget about the Europeans and the Americans. Look at your own businesses. These are homegrown monopoly businesses which only come with a lot of debt. If you went to Ahmedabad, I was on Saturday, the airport is transformed into an international airport, and kudos to the Adanis. Buying at this rate would be highly speculative, but I think the long-term story remains extremely robust.
What about Ambuja ACC? These stocks are nowhere close to its open offer price also. The investment was done at a much higher level. Wouldn't you say that this is more like a safe and a no-brainer?
Correct, Nikunj, but that was much better at 320. This is where we were very positive on 2. Adani Ports at 450 and Ambuja at 320. And we did a very, very strong sip and conviction buy. Touchwood, that has played out well. We think cement is a no-brainer. Ultratech is hitting new highs. The numbers from Ramco are telling you the south is up and running. And we think ACC, Ambuja combined are definitely going to gain market share. As you are aware, once we are through with the monsoon, pricing power and volumes, both three are spurt. I have never seen the type of construction activity which I'm seeing. And that is evident from the likes of NBCC, DLF, Godrej, all hitting 52-week highs.
Bhasin Saab, everyone has limited capital. And when you sell something, either you have to, when you buy something, you'll have to sell something or you'll have to invest fresh capital. Looking at how markets have been, I doubt that a lot of investors have actually committed to more capital. So they're pretty much juggling in between what they have. So when we've discussed about 8-9 stocks which, according to you, one should buy, what should one sell?
Well, I am not in the selling camp, but I think that maybe some of the select consumer discretionary stocks have run a lot and they could take a pause. Also, there is the annual of monsoons probability and so on. But those are expensive stocks. You have a lot of mid-caps. The mid-cap index, by the way, hit new highs yesterday. So I am still very bullish on GMR. I think the airport business is doing extremely well. So if you wanted to take a plunge, then at 45, GMR becomes a buy and lever becomes a sell, or book profit in one of those and add on to, couple of mid-cap names.
Okay, that's the view coming in from some of those mid-cap names as well. But meantime, Shivangi, let's get an outlook from you as well. Within the broader markets, names that really stood out in yesterday's trading session then included a Schneider Electric. That stock scaled up something like 13%. You also had an NBCC, which was a buzz, and IBREL, which was gaining by about 8.6%. Do you believe that traction in these stocks is here to stay?
Absolutely. So, among all the names, I prefer NVCC because we've seen that the weekly structure is quite stable from the last 10 to 12 weeks. It's continuously forming a base which is shifting higher, and buying can be seen at any small declines. On daily frame, it is also taking support near its 50 exponential moving average. So definitely this stock is one which could be kept on radar for a target near 45 levels and a stop near 42 zones.
Okay. I'm just scanning through the list of stocks where you had a big technical breakout. Deepak Nitrite, Dixon, NBCC, Laurus. Then you've got United Spirits and Sudarshan Chemicals. Kunal, Deepak Nitrite, Sudarshan Chemicals, are chemical stocks making a comeback?
Yeah, in fact, Tata Chemical was also on the verge of a breakout about 980 mark yesterday. SRF is the one which has also made a good comeback. So there are many chemical stocks which are actually looking attractive. Deepak Nitrite is something which we discussed, I think, 2 weeks back at 19, 20, 30 levels. And the classic reason for that is that the stock is coming out of two important pattern breakouts. One is a bullish pennant formation on the daily charts, and if you try and extrapolate the time frame to maybe another 2-3 months down the line, then we are looking at a swing breakout and a major swing breakout for Deepak Nitrite at the 1950 levels. So the momentum, the chart patterns are very, very attractive for the stock, and that could probably emerge as the leaders. The other stocks would probably tend to follow on, but I think Deepak Nitrite has now established a major base, a strong breakout at the 1950 mark, and that should now act as a major support. So I think traders who would probably be looking out to buy the dips for Deepak Nitrite, I think closer it is towards the 1950 mark, the better would be the risk reward to initiate a buy.
Piramal Pharma could be an interesting stock to look out for today. They've reported the highest margin and revenue since Q4 of FY22. And remember, the last 2 quarters have been ranked disappointments from Piramal Pharma. We've seen the stock as well massively underperform. So maybe today could be that big day of recovery coming in on the stock price. LIC also came out with its earnings. The VNB margins come in at 19.4% on a sequential basis. This is an uptick considering 14.6% is what they delivered in the corresponding quarter. And the FY23 AP is up about 12.5% on a year-on-year basis. Sanjiv, rank underperformer LIC. I mean, what is it that you have to say to those retail investors who actually bought into the IPO or maybe even after and haven't made any money since? In fact, have lost.
So Aisha, the only word which stays in the market, patience. Be patient with your investment. Insurance, I think the private insurers are doing extremely well. gross net value additions are adding, and the embedded value of LIC is again showing you very strong traction. But since it's a large cap stock, it has a huge, I think their disclosures will be very sharp, and you know, if you have the patience to stay with it, you will definitely make money over a period of time. But like I said, insurance is a very patient game. And as a disclosure, we have all the 3 private insurers under our coverage. I shall just add 2 more names because it's getting late. You all mentioned specialty chemicals. Let me give you 2 names which we have interacted, which we think can be outperformers. First is Chemplast Sanmar, belonging to the Sanmar group in South. They've seen a huge accretion in European orders. And I think the underperformance of many years is coming to an end. Chemplast Sanmar, given the pedigree of the management, can be a huge outperformer. I think this is a very sweet spot in specialty chemicals, and this company is taking it from the front. The other is Jubilant Ingrevia, the parent company of Bhartiya's, or erstwhile known as VAM Organics when I started 30 years back or 40 years back. And I think VAM Organics spin-off Jubilant Ingrevia, even though there was weakness in agrochemicals, their other verticals are doing extremely well. So if you are looking for the next 1 year and a 40-50% upside, then these 2 specialty chemical names are very keen, where we think that there is a lot of opportunity on the upside.
Sanjiv, great to have you on the show. We'll let you go on that note. I understand you are getting late, and we'll see you in Delhi hopefully very soon. Let's move on.